Welcome to the Gamer Agenda Podcast, where our agenda is to be gay
and play games.
I'm Spider Star You, a sassy gamer from New York who keeps it real and keeps it 100.
And I'm Dredians, a gay-ass artist and professional primate pal. This is episode 10 of our podcast. Today's agenda is a big topical event. We all heard about it. Everybody's talking about it. It's the Mario movie. In case you've been living under a rock, Nintendo and Illumination have been working together on a Mario movie for the last couple of years. It faced a bunch of delays because of COVID, but it's finally out now, and it's doing amazing. I think just within the first week or so alone, it's earned over $500 million in the box office. It's had the single biggest 3-day opening for an animated movie ever, of any animated movie, better than any Disney movie. It's the biggest animated movie ever. And it's not even out in Japan yet. It's that big.
Damn.
Everyone, adults and kids, are seeing the Mario movie. People are raving about the Mario movie. They love the Mario movie. So, we're gamers. We love Mario. We're going to talk about the Mario movie. And it's not just going to be us two. We have a special guest with us. You care to introduce him, Spider?
Yes, it's one of my dear friends, one of my juicy friends, and his name is GodUsopp. Hello, GodUsopp.
Hi.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes. Thank you for being here, GodUsopp.
Of course. I'm glad to be here.
This is technically Usopp's second time being on the podcast, but if you're listening to this, you're going to be like, did I miss an episode? Who the fuck is this Usopp guy? This is because we're kind of rearranging things a bunch. We've actually already done an episode with Usopp before that hasn't been released yet as of this recording. It's a really fun episode.
Yes.
It's about SpongeBob and the sort of rumor that, SpongeBob's gay.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about this, SpongeBob being a queer icon for kids and adults alike with Sop here. And you'll get to know more about Sop in that podcast. He's a really great guy. We had a great time with him. But for now, we're just gonna do this now. Because it's topical, and we really want to talk about the Mario movie. We've all seen it now, and we can't wait. We gotta talk about it now!
Yeah!
Alright, so let's get started. I think a good starting point is just to talk about, your initial reaction to the movie. Because I remember when the movie was first announced, a lot of people were actually, not excited about it. A lot of people were kind of, upset about it even because, first of all, there has been a Mario movie before, back in the 90s, and, it was not that good. Personally, I actually kind of like the original live-action Mario movie, but I like it as a weird movie, It's not a good Mario movie, but it's a good, weird movie. But that could be a topic for another time. But, yeah. People are like, the first Mario movie was bad, and video game movies are usually, really cringy, and they're just gonna have, Mario in the real world. He's gonna be, CGI or whatever, and I think this is around when it announced. This was before, stuff like the Sonic movie came out, because a lot of people were really upset about the Sonic movie, too, but then the Sonic movie came out, it's like, oh, actually, that wasn't bad, I like that. And then the second thing that popped up that people got disappointed about was that it was being handled by Illumination Entertainment. And for those unaware, Illumination is the company behind movies like Despicable Me, the Grinch movie that came out a couple years ago, Sing, some other thing, the Lorax, that was a big one.
Oh yeah. And the Minions.
Illumination's had a very, like, hit or miss career. They made a lot of memorable movies, but they're, like, super, super big on marketing. I mean, they created the fucking Minions. Like, you can't go, like, for a while in, like, the late 2010s, you couldn't fucking go anywhere without seeing a Minion. So
true. That's so true. Even, like, adults, like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but, like, even, like, the old, like, grandmas and stuff would have, like, Minion stuff. I'm like, oh my god, everyone has this damn Minion thing.
Yeah,
They're obsessed
so
with
basically, so people they're very lukewarm to the announcement, and, basically their reaction was, and this is something that Sop will get because he's a big SpongeBob fan, most people were going, oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Pretty much.
So, yeah, let's talk about our initial reactions to the announcement. Like, were you excited for the Mario movie, or were you kind of like, eh? Sop, why don't you start first, since you're our guest?
I had... It was kind of mixed feelings. I was very happy that Mario was getting a movie outside of the old one. And I was happy to see that, I was happy to see some of the cast. Like, I was like, oh, Jack Black as Bowser, that's awesome. And Charlie Day as Luigi. Like, those are great choices, in my opinion. Like, I loved, I loved seeing certain people casted as certain characters. And there were some that I didn't like at the same time. So I definitely had I was feeling a bunch of different things when I had seen that announcement.
Okay.
Spider.
Okay, well, for me, I was excited, just like with Usopp, I was excited about some of the cast. Some of them I was not really too thrilled with. Jack Black is actually one of my favorite actors. I've loved him in many different movies that he's been in throughout the years, animated or not. Like, he's just always such a funny guy, like, naturally funny. He oozes charisma, right? So I was so excited. I'm like, ooh, like, I'm excited to see this. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I was not really too thrilled with Chris Pratt being Mario. I said it. Ooh. I'm not the biggest Chris Pratt fan due to some of the rumors I've heard about him, and that's just my opinion. You know, if you like him, that's fine. I have no judgment for people who like him. It's just, for me, I feel the way I feel. I don't really like him. So my first, initial reaction was like, I'm not really feeling this guy. But for the movie itself, like a movie announcement, I was like, oh yeah, like this is something I want to see, because, we got our first Mario Brothers movie so many years ago. It came out before I was even born. Before all three of us were born.
Yeah, I think it came out in 1990.
1990 or 1990 or 1991, I think.
Yeah, one of those.
So it's very, very, just early 90s, around that time. And so, but I remember I did watch it, as I got older, and then we got a DVD or something of it. I saw it, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to see a Mario Brothers movie. And then it starts with, like, the Mario Brothers theme song, and then it's just like, it's like the real world stuff, and it's like, oh, this doesn't really feel like Mario. So, that was my reaction to that. But seeing this, like, seeing actual Mario and, like, in the Mushroom Kingdom and whatnot, and seeing, like, Toad, I'm like, oh my god, yes. So, my initial reaction was positive. To the movie idea itself, I'm like, yes, Mario Brothers, let's get into it. That was my initial reaction.
As for me, when the movie was initially announced, and I remember they just, like, teased it. There was just, like, a question mark block teaser, and all it just said is, like, Super Mario Bros. Movie produced by Nintendo and Illumination Entertainment, coming whatever it was supposed to come out originally, like sometime in 2022, but then it got pushed back. I was very like, I was very like, what's the word? Like tepid, lukewarm, tepid. I was like, because I already mentioned earlier that, like, Illumination's a very hit or miss company. They've made a lot of, like, good movies and classics, but they're also very prone to, like, a ton of marketing and like sequel bait and basically just like milking franchise. I mean, we got like fucking like 3 Despicable Me movies and like 2 Minions movies. And I remember around when like the Lorax was coming out back in like 2014, I think it was, there was like ads for the Lorax everywhere, like Lorax toys, a partnership with a fucking car company, which kind of goes against the point of the Lorax.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh god, this is, they're gonna like make some like, this is gonna be like some cheesy ass kids movie, and they're gonna promote the hell out of it. They're probably gonna make like the Toads or the Goombas like the new Minions or something like that. I was very hesitant, but then around the time they announced the voice cast, I remember it was on a Nintendo Direct. And I was doing a live reaction with my friends, because we do that with Nintendo Direct sometimes, just in case they announce anything big. And God, I wish I recorded it, because none of us were expecting news about the Mario movie. So like, oh man, it's Shigeru Miyamoto. He's gonna announce a new Mario game? No, he's talking about the movie. The what? Voice cast? As soon as they fucking showed the black and white picture of Chris Pratt is Mario. We were fucking I was laughing so hard, I got a headache. Like, I gave myself a migraine because I was like, like, nobody could believe this shit at first. It's like, Chris Pratt is Mario, Charlie Day is Luigi, Jack Black is Bowser, Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. Like, it was like a fucking like meme cast almost. Like, I was convinced it was gonna be a meme movie. It's like, oh my god, they're doing the like bringing out all these like famous movie actors to play the roles. And I remember people were mad that there was no Charles Martinet, or like at the time, like, he wasn't doing Mario's voice, he was gonna do a cameo, and people were like, what? No Charles Martinet? I was very hesitant, and I thought the voice cast was like really funny, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna suck. I have to see this. So I was convinced that the movie wasn't gonna be good, but I wanted to see it out of like morbid curiosity. But then my opinion changed, and so did a lot of other people's. After a certain point, like the general reception turned from cold to like really excited. People were getting really fucking hyped to see this movie. If there was anything or a certain point where you guys got more or less excited, what happened? Like, what do you think changed your opinion and made you more or less excited, or your opinion stayed the same?
I was honestly most excited when, I forgot which trailer it was, but the one where it showed off, I believe it was the first time, like, it gave us a little teaser of Donkey Kong getting the Fire Flower. I think that was probably when I was most excited, because I was like, okay, this movie has to have so much, like, awesome stuff jam-packed into it, and I'm all for it. Because we've never seen anything like that. We've never seen characters other than like Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad getting power-ups. So I was like really excited. I was like, okay, this has to be like this is a good twist. I like it. I'm all for watching it.
Okay. For me, my opinion didn't. So like I said, my opinion was never very negative from the start. Like, my opinion was like, okay, a Mario movie, like, it was positive because it was like, okay, we're gonna get an animated Mario movie. But I'll admit I was a little hesitant up until I saw the movie itself. And I'll tell you why. I don't know if either of you can relate to this, but for me, I grew up with the Mario games, so I'm very protective over Mario. You know, I'm so protective because it's a series I care so much about. So I'll admit there was a bit of hesitancy with me until the very moment I saw the movie, and it's like, I don't know. Like, actually, hold on. That's not true. Not just see the movie. Do you guys remember when they released that ad of where it was like Mario and Luigi, and it's like the song from the Super Mario Brothers Super Show? That's when I think I got less hesitant. That's when, that's when, because the reason why is because it's like, it just invoked such a good feeling in me, and I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. All right, so like, they're thinking about us with this movie, because that's the thing. With movies like this, sometimes you worry, like, they're not really thinking about the fans. They want like a broader audience, so they're thinking about like just, you know, the kids, the people who don't really play games that much. That's what you usually think. But when I saw that, like, they actually like did a little callback to Super Mario Bros. Super Show, oh, I fell in love. I'm like, that's so beautiful. I love this. I can't wait. So my hesitation went down by so much after seeing that. I was so happy seeing that. I was so happy. So that's when the hesitancy or opinion kind of changed for me.
I want to honestly add on to that, if that's okay.
Yeah. Of course.
I hate to say this, but I actually forgot that they showed that as a trailer at some point. I have to agree, that was also how I was. I was more for it when I saw that as well, because that's just like, that's the best way you can get you can get the attention of somebody who is an older fan of Mario, you know, because like that show is really iconic to a lot of older people.
Yes.
I might not be like, you know, I might not be that much like that old to have seen that, but I did watch that. Like, I remember anytime like I went to my library, I would always grab one of the DVDs of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show.
Yes.
Anytime. I didn't care what episode it was. I didn't care if I seen it already. I'd always grab it. And if I saw one I didn't have, that was an immediate pick for me. Like, I loved that show to death.
Oh my god. Usopp, same. I would get it from so I'm a New Yorker. I live in Queens. They have like a thing called Queens Library, which is like all over. So I would go to Queens Library and I would get, you know, of course I would get some books, but I would mainly get DVDs like that, like the Super Mario Super Show.
Yes.
And get like a volume and has a couple episodes on them. That's how I even got shows like Donkey Kong Country.
Yes,
I would get that
really?
and like see it. Yeah, they had it.
That's amazing.
So I love that. I love that you mentioned that about the Super Mario Super Show, because that's how I also saw it as a kid.
Yes, that was my childhood.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna have to like agree with you guys. The first time my opinion changed was when they showed that like first ever teaser, like the first time we got to see like any part of the movie like in motion beyond pictures, when they showed like the scene of like Bowser invading the Ice Kingdom in the beginning of the movie. I remember watching that, and I was like, wow, this is actually, like, really well animated, and, like, all the characters are, like, they're, like, true to their canon designs, but they have a little bit of, like, leniency to them, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Like, Bowser's a good example. Like, Bowser looks like Bowser, but he's also, like, if you compare him to, like, canon in-game Bowser, he's, like, a lot, like, wider and chunkier, and he's got more, like, realistic, like, turtle scales, or, like dino scales, or whatever you want to call them. Like, he's a lot more, like, draconic, and I really like, they added more green on his shoulders and all, because I really like Bowser's green face, but I always thought it was weird that, like, his body was yellow and his head was green. So I really like that they added, like, a sort of, like, transition from, like, the yellow scales to the green scales. And they made it, like, look a little more realistic, but also cartoony. And I was like, wow, this looks like, wow, the art, like, the art in this is really nice and expressive, and, like, wow, like, Jack Black, like, is doing a good job. I mean, I didn't doubt Jack Black a second. I already knew, like, even when I wasn't excited for the movie, I was like, well, he's gonna be the best part, like, no duh. But, like, you know, I was kind of expecting him to just be, like, full-on silly, but in this, he is kind of silly in the movie, but, in this one scene, he's, like, very serious. You know, it's like, oh, who's gonna stop me? And I'm like, wow, this actually looks kind of baller. And then they drop the fucking Super Bowl, we're the Mario Brothers, and plummets our game. Like, they fucking did it!
We're not
oh
like
my
others
God.
who get all the fame. If your sink is in trouble, you can call us on the double. We're faster than the others, you'll be hooked on the brothers.
Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
I always love that part where he goes,
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. So I remember, I watched that commercial. I was like, they fucking did it. Oh my God, they referenced it. and like the attention to detail, making it look like a fucking like shitty like local channel commercial. Like it reminded me of my childhood. Because we're gonna be kind of talking about spoilers in this. I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning of the podcast because
we'll say it in the description. We'll say it in the description.
Yeah, I'll say it in the description. Yeah. So this movie is kind of taking a sort of page out of like the OG Mario lore that Mario and Luigi are plumbers from Brooklyn, like real life Brooklyn, New York. And then they like one day they get sucked in through a pipe into the Mushroom Kingdom. So the movie starts out with them in Brooklyn, and you know they have this ad for their plumbing service, and it very much reminded me of like because I live in Brooklyn. So
you do?
I do. Yes. I Mario's my neighbor. I met him before. It reminded me of like the fucking like Fiberama or like local TV commercials that they'd show on like Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, just like the local network commercials, and like right down to like the shitty like voice audio and like the clearly like the people who are supposed to be real customers who are like very clearly like acting, they're saying what they're being told, and oh my god, I remember people were noticing that the Bowser's like, who's gonna stop me, like kind of synced up well with the beginning of the commercial. And I remember a bunch of people were like, oh man, I hope they transition into the commercial from Bowser to the commercial in the movie. And they fucking did. And I was like giggling like a schoolgirl, like kicking in my seat when they did that. But yeah, when I saw that ad, I was like, oh my god, they actually referenced the Super Show. Like, oh my god, this actually is gonna be good. Because yeah, I agree with what Sop and Spider said. Like, none of us were like around when the Mario cartoon was in its prime, but like, you know, it was easy to get a hold of it from your local library. Me personally, I grew up with YouTube Poops.
Yes.
So anyone who grew up with like YouTube Poops like knows like Mama Luigi, like Hotel Mario, all the classic Mario cartoons and all the Mario memes. So
nice for the princess to invite us over for a picnic, gay Luigi.
Yes.
it's such a good, like, it was such a smart decision adding that, because like to the newbie fans that don't know anything about Super Show, it's just funny, like some weird funny commercial. To fans our age who maybe didn't watch the show when it was on TV but are aware of it because of like internet memes, like it's like, oh my god, yeah. And then you have the older fans who were around when the cartoon was out. It's like such a good like triple whammy, like a good way to like snare a wide audience. And it proved to me that they were willing to make deep cut references and like satisfy fans of all ages, because yeah, like what Spider said, I was expecting very like you know, crap, what's the how's the saying go, like the fruit at the bottom
of the barrel,
yeah, low-hanging fruit. I was expecting very low-hanging fruit references, like, oh yeah, you know, like they did make a princess in another castle joke, like that was a given, but like I was expecting that to be like the only joke, you know, like I was expecting
exactly, I agree, like plenty of it's a me's and stuff, like very 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 obvious jokes I was expecting.
Yeah, like jokes everyone knows, like jokes that you don't even need to play Mario to understand. Like I was expecting that to be like the only comedy in the movie, but the Super Show reference proved to me that they were willing to go out there. And yeah, on the subject of references, this movie was filled with tons of Easter eggs and references. And I figured we'd use this part now to just like discuss some of our favorite ones that we noticed, because God, I mean, you could make a whole entire other podcast with the amount of references there are in there, and there are plenty of YouTube videos that have already done it. So I think we should just, you know, mention like any notable ones, our favorite ones. Sop, you wrote like a whole list of ones that you noticed. Do you care to share any of the ones you really liked?
Yes, out of all the Easter eggs, yes, I honestly will. I think what I wanna note first is I really liked how Mario was playing the original Kid Icarus in his room at some point in the movie. I really liked that. That sent me. When I saw that, I was like, that's amazing. I'm so glad that they put this in. They had no right to, but they did it anyway. Or no reason to, I should say. They had no reason to do it, but they did it anyway, and I love that. But I think my favorite, I'm not going to go like through the whole list, but I think my favorite reference or Easter egg of all time was probably...
Yeah, there's so many.
I was happy to see that they what's the word? I'm so sorry that I'm forgetting my words.
No worries.
What I was happy to see the most though was that they acknowledged Chunky Kong's existence. When I saw that, I was like, okay, they're really throwing references at us. Like, cause it's so obscure because for the longest time, he was a character that nobody had seen since Donkey Kong 64. So when I saw him there, I was like, wow, that's amazing. They didn't need to do that, but they did.
The Kong Kingdom scene was really amazing because
yes.
I was surprised that they actually made a bunch of unique generic Kong people.
Yes.
They made an entire city of Kongs, and I found it was very funny that you had all these unique Kongs, including ones that we've never seen before, completely unique and new to the movie.
Yes.
Unique humans too. In the real world Brooklyn, you have a bunch of humans that are and they're in the Mario style too. They're kind of bulbous and cartoony like Mario and Luigi are. They're not
yes.
they're not the new Donkers where they're just real ass people.
Yeah.
And then the Toads are just the identical Toads.
I love them. They're all so squishy and fucking helpless,
To be fair, it was the Koopas too. The Koopas too are pretty except for one Koopa who was supposed to be the fucking blue shell. They made the blue shell a character.
That guy was the biggest hater for no reason.
He was. He's fucking die, eat shit, Mario. He was a suicide bomber. It's
yeah, he literally killed himself.
Yeah.
That was great. I loved that.
Yeah.
So for me, just to expand on what Usopp said, for me, some of the references that I like were the Donkey Kong stuff. So we got a lot of unique new Kongs, but also we got a lot of Kongs from back then in the old, Super Nintendo days. So we got Wrinkly Kong, we got Swanky Kong, and it was really cool to see them because they haven't been around since Donkey Kong Country 3. It's been a long time. Okay, Wrinkly's been in some other games, but Swanky hasn't been anywhere. So seeing him again was so cool. So I like seeing that. I like seeing
Funky Kong too.
Yes, he was there.
Yeah,
I find it funny. I don't mean to interrupt you, Spider.
It's okay. Don't worry.
I find it hilarious that Wrinkly Kong was actually in a Kong form because in most media in most Donkey Kong or Mario media, she's usually just a ghost.
Oh yeah, she's dead.
Yeah, I actually didn't notice Wrinkly Kong. See, there's so much in this movie. You need to watch it multiple times to get all the references.
Every time I think of Wrinkly Kong, I just think of Donkey Kong 64, where she's in the door. Yeah, if anyone's played Donkey Kong 64, you know what I'm talking about. When you go to her door and then she makes that sound. So it was
yes.
You know about it, right? Another thing I liked was I liked seeing the penguins from the Super Mario 64. I love seeing them. They're so cute and little. It was nice seeing that, especially the one with their little crown too. It was so cute. They were so cute. And then just one last thing that I think was really cool to hear was the GameCube ringtone. Oh, I just love those little things that older fans would know, right? Some of the newer people or people who didn't really know much about video games, they probably didn't really notice any of this. But, there was always these little things that would always call back to, old school gamers who grew up with this stuff, who grew up with Nintendo 64, grew up with GameCube, or grew up with whatever, NES, SNES.
There were, yes.
I love that. I love seeing all those references. And even we got some references from the newer stuff, too. We got, Cat Mario was in the movie. Cat Mario when he was versing Donkey Kong. So
a lot of Mario Odyssey references, too.
Yeah. Yes, so I love it. Those are some of my favorite references.
Some of my favorite references, Yeah, Sapa already mentioned that there was Mario was playing Kid Icarus in one scene. People pointed out there was like a poster for F-Zero. The pizzeria that they're in, like in the beginning of the movie, is called Punch Out Pizzeria, and you could see like a poster of Little Mac, a poster of Glass Joe, and I think referencing Punch Out's very funny because in like the original NES Punch Out, Mario was the referee.
Is there
so
really?
It's kind of like full circle. In the rich people's house, when Mario and Luigi first go there to like do their plumbing, there's a sculpture of a Pikmin on the side that I saw. There was a Pikmin sculpture. Yeah. When Mario and Luigi, they burst through like the pipe in downtown Brooklyn, underground Brooklyn.
That's amazing.
And they find like the big warp pipe that leads to Mushroom Kingdom. When Mario is walking towards the pipe, the shape of the broken bricks around him form the head of the original Mario sprite. The Luigi's Mansion theme played for a second when Luigi was in the forest. I caught the Super Mario Galaxy Bowser theme. The Bowser's Fury theme, the Captain Toad theme, there's Bob on Battlefield was there, the piano that Bowser plays his iconic Peaches song on is called, references Ludwig. The Donkey Kong Country theme, the DK rap, they had the DK rap in there for like a second. The Mario Kart 8 kart selection theme, SNES Rainbow Road,
the Captain Toad theme.
There was the Mario 64 spin when they were fighting Bowser at the end. Though I am sad that
yes,
they didn't
I
say
loved
so
that.
long, gay Bowser.
Yes, and then when I loved when they like Luigi did it too, but I loved when they like Mario forward smashed Bowser.
Yeah,
I loved that.
Yes.
Yeah, there were so many. Yeah, there's so many references that there's some that we missed too. Like I noticed on Sop's list that he pointed out that there was a poster with Toadette on it in the Mushroom Kingdom. I didn't notice that, and I'm I mean, he's the Toadette guy too, but I'm also the Toadette guy, and I didn't even notice that. I was like maybe looking for like her head somewhere. I was like, oh, she's on a poster. Wow, there's so much stuff on there. And in the kart scene, like I forgot if it was. I think it was Peach that did it, or maybe Mario. It was either Mario or Peach. At one point, they turn really hard, and they have the purple fire from the Mario Kart 8 mini turbo.
Yes, it was Mario. He was doing it to escape one of the Koopas.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, they really went the distance. And in the wedding scene, there's like King Babam and King Boo.
Yes. Oh my gosh, King Boo didn't look too good, but King Babam was sexy as ever.
I was kind of disappointed with how King Boo looked. They kind of went for his like generic appearance that he has in the main Mario games instead of the Luigi's Mansion.
Mansion one, it would have looked so much better.
Yeah, maybe if they do a Luigi's Mansion movie, maybe they'll change him up a little bit. I don't know, but
that's actually rumored too. There's actually a rumor going around.
Yeah, I heard Charlie Day said he would be on board for a Luigi sequel.
Yes.
But yeah, there's honestly so much that we could talk about for the references. Let's just move on. Like, what was your favorite scene? Favorite character?
Favorite character? Do you guys mind if I go first?
Yeah, you can go
of course. Go ahead.
Okay. I think my favorite character, aside from Bowser, I'm just gonna put it out there. Bowser was probably my favorite, but Bowser is the most popular. So I think I want to choose a different one.
He's a given.
Yeah.
Everyone likes Bowser.
Yeah. I think my favorite though, it might be a tie between. It might be a 3-way tie between like Toad, Luigi, and DK because they all just had great moments.
Yeah, very strong supporting cast.
Exactly. Like DK is just a giant asshole to Mario, like throughout most of the movie, and it's perfect because he's so salty to him. Like Toad has like some of the best jokes in the entire movie, and Luigi, I just love like Luigi how brotherly he is with Mario and stuff. Like that was like probably one of my favorite things about the movie is that their brotherly dynamic throughout it was perfect.
Yeah, it was so sweet. It was really sweet to see that.
What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene. Okay. My favorite scene would probably be Peaches. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's a banger. I was actually honestly expecting it to be longer. I didn't realize I was trying not to spoil myself. Like, I knew that there was a Bowser song and it was about Peach. But it wasn't until after I saw the movie that I checked the song. I was like, damn, it's only like a minute long.
Yeah.
It felt like it was so much longer because it was so good.
Exactly.
Spider, do you have what's your favorite character and favorite scene from the movie?
Sure thing, hunty. My favorite character was Toad. I love Toad. Toad is such a little cutie. I love his voice actor. What's his voice actor's name?
Keegan-Michael Key.
Yes, I love Key. I love Key. He's so freaking funny. A perfect voice for Toad. I love it. It kind of reminded me a little bit of I don't know why, but it kind of reminded me a bit of like his voice in Mario Kart 64 a little bit. Like that kind of like goofiness. Like I don't know. It just kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Like in a good way. I loved his voice. And Toad had so many like funny moments. Like this kind of relates to like one of my favorite scenes, which my favorite scene was, this is so silly. This is not even like a big thing, but it was like they go to see the Kongs and then a giant gorilla answers the door and the gorilla's like in a suit and everything, and Toad's like, oh, I feel a little underdressed.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that joke so much.
It killed me in the movie, but I died. I was on the floor dying. I was laughing hysterically. I'm like, oh my god, I love Toad. He's so freaking funny and he's so adorable. I've always loved Toad. In Mario Kart games and everything, but seeing Toad just be a scene stealer like that, I love it. Oh, and okay, one more. I get one more. When Toad was, they were all doing their karts when they're about to go on the Rainbow Road. So Mario has a kart, Peach has like a motorcycle, and Toad's out with the like this. It's kind of like the tiny Titan from Mario Kart Wii, with the like, it's like a monster truck with like big wheels.
He's got the hydraulics and everything. He's doing like the pin bar,
and he's bumping it and everything. I loved that.
I love
sunglasses.
Oh, it was so good. I love Toad so much.
That scene was definitely a big hit with the kids in the theater.
Oh yeah.
That when that scene came on, like every child in the theater I was in was like, they thought it was so funny.
I just loved that entire like scene where they're making the karts too, because like the Mario Kart 8 kart selection music played, and that's like one of my favorite songs, and I was like, it's so good. And like I know we like passed like references, but I just want to like bring this up. I actually didn't know this until someone brought it up to me, but you know like how Toad like beeps his horn before he like drives up? He actually has the same exact horn that he has in Mario Kart 8, and I thought that was a great reference.
I missed that.
Ooh.
Probably because I play as like Toad and Toadette all the time that like I don't even, it just sounds like a normal horn to me now.
Yeah, exactly. At that point you might as well like, you know, you just don't even think about it.
It's so good. But yeah, I love Toad.
It's been so long since I've seen a movie with like children in the theater, because a lot of I haven't watched like a kids movie in the theater in a long time, so I forgot how like cute it is to be watching a movie with children, because like, you know, they had like the little opening cinematic where like, you know, Illumination and Nintendo's opening credits, and like you have like Luigi come on the screen. I hear a little kid in the past like Luigi. It's like they're not so surprised to see Luigi, like they're not about to watch an entire fucking Mario movie. I love kids, man. It's so excited to see Luigi. Okay, my turn. Yeah, honestly, I'm just gonna repeat what everyone said. My favorite characters were Toad, DK, and Luigi. Like, Luigi was so sweet. I love how, like, brotherly he is. Like, he's like the perfect combination of, like, Luigi through, like, the different Mario games, you know? He's, like, fun and gentle, and he's also, like, kind of a coward, but he also really loves Mario, and he was like the perfect mix of like Luigi's Mansion and like Mario and Luigi RPG.
Yes.
Luigi.
Yes.
Didn't you say he has the socks from Mario and Luigi?
Yes. Okay. A lot of people on Twitter beforehand were like blowing up, like how, like, oh my God, Luigi has the striped socks from the RPG games, like it's in the trailer, and I didn't see it at first, but then like I like re-looked at it, and I'm like, oh my god, it kind of does. And I'm like, I was so hyped to see that, because like the RPG series is one of my favorite Mario like games of all time.
R.I.P. Alpha Dream. Never forget.
Yes, never forget.
Yeah. Toad, he was really funny. I mean, I'm very protective about Toad, and that Toad was primarily the reason I was hesitant about the Mario movie at first, because as a Toad fan, I've had to go through the countless like unfunny like Toad is annoying jokes like for decades.
Yahoo!
And like people make the same fucking joke about Toad all the time, like, he's so annoying. I was like, oh god, they're gonna ruin Toad, aren't they? But he ended up being like the fucking goat of the movie. He was so. I love that they basically just made him Captain Toad, because one thing that always bothered me about Mario canon is that Captain Toad and Toad, like the character, are like different Toads. But I always personally headcanon them being like the same Toad, because it's like Toad's gotta have his own adventures sometimes. I mean, he can't always be, like, guarding Peach. Like, there's, like, a million Toads in the castle. So my personal headcanon is that Toad and Captain Toad are the same. So I'm glad the movie kind of, like, sort of did that for me. And yeah, Toad was never annoying. Like, they made him, like, the chipper, like, happy-go-lucky character, but it's very easy to, like, Flanderize that and make that sort of character annoying. But I'm glad they didn't do that with Toad. And yeah, he had a lot of funny moments. He was basically just kind of like, Toad didn't really like do too much in the movie, but I mean, the movie was very short, and we'll go more into that later. But like, he never like overstayed his welcome. Like, all the scenes of Toad were good, and he was really cute, and Keegan-Michael Key did a great job of him. Bowser's obviously great. We're not even gonna, we don't need to talk about Bowser. Like, everyone's talking about Bowser. He's great.
Well, I wanted to say something about Bowser, actually.
Okay, you can talk about Bowser.
I wanted to say something about Bowser that I think I was talking about with Usopp the other day while preparing for this podcast. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some people who would see the movie may think, like, oh, why is Bowser so goofy? Bowser's so goofy in this movie. But for those of us who grew up with games like Paper Mario, the Paper Mario series, or even the Mario and Luigi games too, to be honest, right? Bowser has that goofy side. Like, Bowser is just always, like, funny. He's goofy. Like, that's how, like, we see Bowser. Like, seeing him in those types of games, the Paper Mario series, Mario and Luigi series, we see that goofy side of Bowser. So for us to see that in the movie, it's so, like, I love it. I love seeing that side of Bowser, because it kind of also humanizes him a bit. Because, you know, of course you have, like, a villain. He's evil. He wants to do what he wants to do. But, like, you need that little side that kind of, you know, makes them, you know, relatable, makes them funny, makes them, like, someone you like. And I love how they really touched on that with Bowser. Like, Bowser is goofy. Bowser is silly. And with his song about peaches or whatever the case is, I love it that they showed that side of Bowser. I love it.
Yeah, they did a great job making Bowser, like, intimidating, but also, like, cute and funny at the same time. Because that's kind of how he is in the games. Like, I know a lot of people kind of, like, trash on Mario Sunshine Bowser for being, like, too goofy. But it's, like, that feels kind of perfect for him. Like, normally he's very, like, serious and cunning, and he's always got his plan to kidnap the princess. But it's, like, no, he just wants to have, like, a vacation with his son, you know? He's a family man. I'm surprised that Bowser Jr. wasn't in this movie, but I mean, there's probably you know, they're probably gonna find some way to add him in at some point. I mean, one more thing I wanted to say is that I also really like DK. I was not expecting to like DK as much as I did. They when they first showed DK, they already won me over, because I have such a soft spot for the OG Shigeru Miyamoto Donkey Kong from, like, the original arcade games. I'm not really a super huge fan of the Rare Donkey Kong design. Like, this is just the design. I love Donkey Kong as a character, and the Donkey Kong games are great, but I don't really like... This is my primate autism coming out. I don't really like DK's design, because he doesn't look enough like a gorilla to me. He looks kind of... A lot of times, he just kind of looks like a guy in a suit, and it's kind of creepy to me, almost. He creeps me out sometimes with, like, the black on his eyes, and, like, his mouth not always having teeth. It's like what's this, like, Five Nights at Freddy's or some shit? In the movie, though, they kind of mixed the rare design with the original Miyamoto design, and they made him, like, he's so cute. Oh my god, he's so furry, and he's got like accurate like gorilla nose, and like there's a lot of like little gestures he had that were very gorilla like. I love the part where Cranky is explaining the plan and DK is just chilling in a hammock and he just grabs a banana with his foot and eats it. He was so cute, and I love how he was such a sore loser around Mario, but he like came around and helped him. And I was not expecting to like DK so much because, you know, Seth Rogen's a fine actor, but he's very like, he's a lot of times he can be like a one-trick pony. Like, people always take note of his laugh and like the weed jokes and whatever. Obviously they were gonna do a weed joke in a kid's movie, but like he did a great job playing Donkey Kong, and I really love Donkey Kong, but I'm biased because I love anything that has to do with apes and monkeys, so. Alright, so we've been praising this movie a lot, but obviously no piece of cinema is perfect. This next part is going to be discussing our likes and dislikes about the movie. Like, things that, you know, we talk a lot about what we liked, how we like the characters and the scenes and the Easter eggs and whatever, but, you know, we're all entitled to our own complaints, so let's talk about, like, things that we didn't like about the movie quite as much. You could start, Sob.
My likes and dislikes. Okay, I liked everything about the movie, to be honest. There wasn't really anything in it that I disliked, but I suppose I did have one gripe, and it was that, like, there wasn't as much Luigi as I would have wanted. And that's really about it. But other than that, I loved everything. I loved everything other than that.
Spider?
For me, so it's so crazy. You, just like usual, I kind of like go against what the majority think. It's so funny. A lot of people loved Donkey Kong a lot. I was not the biggest fan of Donkey Kong. And I'm a huge Donkey Kong stan, usually. So maybe that's why I'm a little bit more critical. It's just weird hearing a voice like Seth Rogen voicing Donkey Kong, because I really felt like it was just Seth Rogen, not really Donkey Kong. And I grew up with the Donkey Kong Country TV show, so that's also why I'm a little, you know, more critical, because I grew up with Donkey Kong being like, you know, hey, little buddy, you know, and singing songs and loving all candy, so I was not really the biggest fan of Donkey Kong's demeanor and voice during the movie. I was like, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. But everything else, every other character, every other scene, I was a big fan of and loved. That's just me being a little critical, because like I said, I grew up with the Donkey Kong Country TV show, so I just wasn't the biggest fan of him. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's fair. My complaints about the movie, yeah, I agree with Sob. Not enough Luigi. A lot of characters didn't really get enough time to shine, but it's all for the same reason. The movie's very short. It's like under 90 minutes. Like it's like 92 minutes, like counting all the like credits and whatever. That's really short. And on the one hand, I like that because I've become increasingly like impatient about really long movies. I remember going to see The Batman last year. What's his name? Robert Pattinson. The Robert Pattinson Batman, and I liked it. But it was so fucking long. I had to pee, bro. I had to leave before the movie ended because it was so long. So it felt nice to see a shorter movie again, but it also kind of suffered from that because there are definitely some parts where like it moves really fast and like certain characters like they're there and then they're gone, and like the time that they were there was great and then they don't really show up for the rest of the movie. And then you're like, oh man, I wish I saw more of that. Like, Luigi definitely. Like, Luigi is so great in the beginning, and then he gets kidnapped, and then he's just kind of there for a little bit, and he's kind of just doing nothing until he gets rescued, and then he's great again, but then the movie's over. This is kind of an aside. I forgot to mention during the favorite characters part. I'm just gonna give like a very quick shout out to Peach. I really like how they handled Peach in this movie because it's so easy to make like a girl boss character. Again, it's the same thing with Toad. Like it's very easy to make a character like that super annoying, but they didn't. Like Peach was really likable, and again, we didn't really get to see too much of her in action. Mainly towards the end, but like they hinted at this like backstory for her that she was maybe from the real world like Mario is, and then she like ended up in the Mushroom Kingdom as a baby, and like the Toads raised her and made her their princess, and like I really liked that. And I hope they when they do a sequel, like they go more into that, because you know that is kind of one question that people have always been thinking about, like how the fuck, like Mario and Luigi are humans, yeah, they're not native here, but how the fuck did Peach get here? Like why is a human like the queen of the mushroom people? And they kind of she reminded me a lot of Fiona from the Shrek movies, where she's just kind of like no nonsense, going like, oh, I hate men, whatever.
Yes.
I don't know. I just really
just a funny
like,
thing you mentioned.
Perfect.
Maybe she is from the real world. Mario's from Brooklyn. Mario and Luigi are from Brooklyn. Maybe she's from Queens.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a princess. She's royalty. Maybe.
Yeah. Peach. She's from Georgia. She's from Georgia because Peach is there.
You did it even better. Better. She's from Georgia. She's a Georgia peach. Because it makes you wonder. She's like a baby. Like, did the Toads name her Peach, or like, was she already named Peach and they just like found her name? Or I'm asking too many questions. I'm getting too in depth over the fucking Mario movie. But anyways, yeah. Back to my complaints. Movie was very fast. There was a lot of scenes where they used like licensed music and all, and that's again typical of a children's movie. But it kind of got excessive at times. And there was one scene in particular, the scene where the Kong bodyguard was escorting the gang over towards Cranky Kong's palace. They decided to put Take On Me during that part. At first, I did not know why they chose that, but apparently the possible reason is that Take On Me was the number one song on Billboard when the first Mario game came out. And that's like if that's true, that'd be like a really nice deep cut there. But also they actually had an original song planned for that part called Driving Me Bananas that uses a lot of like Donkey Kong Country leitmotifs, and besides the one that everyone knows, like everyone knows that like everyone knows that one, but there's supposed to be like more Donkey Kong Country references, and it's sad that it kind of got cut off to use more licensed music. But I mean, again, that's a problem a lot of kids movies have. They gotta get their like funding money, they gotta have like funny music references and whatever. My final complaint is, I didn't like that Luma character. I was talking about characters getting annoying. That Luma got annoying real fast. He added nothing to the story. He was just, like, dark and morbid the whole time. And it was, like, funny the first time when, like, Luigi gets thrown in jail. But then near the end of the movie, and he's like, yay, I'm free, now there's nothing to do but the ceaseless void. It's like, damn, like, where the fuck's Rosalita at? Like, why does dude get so depressed? She needs to gather him.
I didn't like him. He got annoying really fast. But, like, he wasn't there for very long. He was just kind of like a joke character. But yeah, all of my complaints are just very brief, like problems that a lot of kids' movies have, and problems that I was expecting the movie to have. So I'm not really like, Nintendo, fix this movie right now, but I'm hoping maybe in the sequel they make it a little longer, since I feel like there's a bit of hesitation making this movie, because obviously they know the last time they made a Mario movie, it did not go over well. Beyond people not liking it, there was a ton of like, I actually watched a documentary about, like, the making of the first Mario movie. There was so much behind-the-scenes drama, like, so many different directors that, like, swapped, and, like, actors getting treated poorly, and like, people on set, like, being abused. There's so much drama. So I feel like when Illumination was making this movie, like, fucking, like, Shigeru Miyamoto had, like, a gun to their back, like, don't you fuck up my boy. I feel like the movie being so short was because they were trying to play it. They definitely felt like they were trying to play it safe a lot for the movie. Have a simple plot. Bowser's coming. Bowser's attacking. Mario ends up saving the day. Like very basic, typical Mario game plot. Sprinkle in some Easter eggs. Safe and fun kids movie everyone will like. Now that the movie's doing so good and it's proven itself to be, everyone loves it. I'm hoping they maybe get a little more ballsy with the sequel. I don't know, with the plot. I just want it to be longer, and more Luigi, more Toad, more supporting characters. Like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, I just realized on my notepad, so for context for the audience, when I went to see the movie, I brought a notepad, like a physical pen and paper, and I wrote down all the notes I wanted to take while watching the movie. I just realized I wrote Morrow 64 spin. I didn't put the I wrote Morrow instead of Mario. I was trying to write so fast so I could keep watching the movie. Okay, but yeah. I was already kind of getting into it, but yeah, our last question for today is, if, and they probably will, because again, this movie is doing fantastic, and again, it's not even out in Japan yet, so it's probably going to make like 100 million, jillion, gadillion more dollars. So, if and when they make a sequel, what are your hopes for a sequel? Stop.
I would really love to see a sequel, whether it be like Mario, like it's like whether it stars Mario again as the main character, or if Luigi's the main character, or Donkey Kong, or shoot, even a Peach movie. Like, I wouldn't mind as long as like there's a sequel at all. I think I'll enjoy it.
Spider.
For me, I can't wait for a sequel. I really want to see a sequel of some kind, and I want the focus to be on Luigi. I think you guys really brought home that, something I didn't really think about during the movie. I'll be honest. I didn't really think that Luigi didn't really show up as much as he could have. But now that you guys brought it up, I'm like, yeah, I would have loved to see more of Luigi. Luigi, he was so sweet during the movie, and I love how they kind of combined the qualities of him being, because Luigi is kind of a coward and a pushover, as Toad said in Super Mario 64 DS. He's kind of a pushover. He is, but, he also is a very sweet person. He's very kind. So I would love to see a movie kind of about Luigi, maybe about Luigi's Mansion, or just some sort of something where Luigi has to be the star and he has to save Mario. That would be really cool, and I would just love to see kind of the reverse roles of them doing that. I think it'd be so cool. I think it'd be so cool to see Luigi really step up to the plate. So I would love to see something like that. But also, I don't know if we mentioned this at all. There was a scene after the movie played, and it was a Yoshi egg. Right? And we heard Yoshi say, yes, Yoshi, or Yoshi, something. And so, are we maybe theorizing they may potentially go to Dinosaur Island, like in Super Mario World? Is that a possibility?
They did show that scene when the Toads and Peach were planning for Bowser's attack. They showed a map of all the different kingdoms, and it had the Mushroom Kingdom and the Darklands and the Kong Kingdom and Tostarena. And I don't really remember what the map looks like now, but there could have been Dinosaur Kingdom at some point. And they did actually walk past a part where you saw a bunch of Yoshis running by. There were Yoshis in the movie.
So maybe that's a possibility. They'll go there, or maybe just a Yoshi will come and they have to kind of raise it. Who knows what will happen? Who knows what will happen? But I'm excited for anything they'll do. Even we've had some people talk about maybe a Kong spinoff, talk more about Donkey Kong and more about where he came from, how he grew up. That could be very interesting. A Kong focused spinoff. But more so than that, I want to see something about Luigi, or even a Peach movie. I would love that. I just would love something like that.
Yeah, man. There's so much potential for a sequel because all the characters are great. And there's a bunch of characters that they haven't been in the movie yet. A bunch of like mainstay characters. Like there was no Daisy, no Koopalings, no Birdo, no Wario and Waluigi. They still have like a whole entire cast of characters that they could play around with, and I was thinking of a lot of different possibilities that they could go with the sequel, and it's like obviously the sequel's gonna involve something with Yoshi because Yoshi was teased there. And I was thinking, what if Wario and like Wario's canon backstory, as far as I can remember, is like he and Mario were friends when they were kids, and Mario was mean to him, and now, like, Wario just fucking, like, hates Mario's guts, and he, like, hates Mario so much that, like, he hired some guy to be his Luigi just to, like, fucking... he's the #1 hater. And I don't know if they could do that in a movie, because Spike already kind of seems to be, like, the mean... Like, he wasn't evil, he was just kind of an asshole. And then he was nice to them at the end, because, like, they saved his ass. Spike was another character that they didn't really do anything with. I think he was just kind of more of an Easter egg than anything. But they, like, teased him in, like, the character cast like he was going to play a bigger part. But either way, I mean, I thought it was really cool that they included him. Because, like, who the fuck has seriously thought about forming Spike in, like, the last 30 years before the movie came out? Anyways... My idea is maybe Bowser makes, like, evil clones of Mario and Luigi to, like, compete with them, because now he knows that, oh, man, these guys mean business, and they know how to use the power-ups and whatever. Like, what if I made my own guys that could, like, stand up to them, and then, something fucks up, and then he just ends up with, like, dumbass, like, Wario and Waluigi just, scheming and farting and all that other kind of stuff.
Oh, God.
I was also thinking, like, they haven't used the Koopalings yet. If they haven't used Bowser Jr. yet. The Koopalings were deconfirmed to be Bowser's children a few years ago by Miyamoto. They're just like other Koopas that work for Bowser, but Bowser Jr. is absolutely his kid, and there is no Bowser Jr. So if there is a Bowser Jr. in a sequel, like they're gonna have to explain who Mrs. Bowser is, or how he came to be, Yeah, I mean, Daisy, like, Daisy has her own kingdom. They could go to another kingdom. There's so much potential. And there could be a Luigi spin-off. There could be a Donkey Kong spin-off. Like, shit, we could get a Toad spin-off, even. I mean, the Sonic movie has a Knuckles spin-off in the making. It's a TV show, but still, like, they really, like, they played it safe, and it pulled off... They pulled it off so well, because if the movie did bad, then it works as it's just a standalone movie. But it did really good, and they have all these characters, and then Mario's a huge franchise that they can pull a bunch of different references from. There's so much potential. Honestly, like, the sky's the limit. I'm like what you guys said. I'm just excited for the concept of a sequel in general. Whatever they do with it, there's Rosalina. We mentioned Rosalina earlier. They could take it to the fucking moon. They could take it to the space. Like, Mario's so big. You could do so much with Mario. Like, they really have like a treasure trove on their hands. That reminds me. Yeah. Okay. Maybe one more question, because some people were talking about this. So we mentioned the Sonic movie a couple times. We have a Sonic movie. We have a Mario movie. A few years ago, they released Detective Pikachu. People are discussing, like, the possibility of, like, a Nintendo cinematic universe. Like what with... I mean, Sonic's not Nintendo, but, he appears in Nintendo games. But people are talking about, like, what if they do, like, a Smash Bros. Game, Smash Bros. Movie, like the Avengers, or just, a cinematic universe, because we're in an era now where, like, video game movies are actually, like, good again. And it just does, the success of the Sonic and Mario movies just, like, open a door to whole new possibilities. So maybe, like, real quick, we could, like, discuss our thoughts on, like, more Nintendo movies if they choose to make them, and, like, the idea of a Nintendo cinematic universe. Is that something that you guys would want, or, like, something like that?
I would actually enjoy that, yeah. I think that could work.
Spider?
I think, this is kind of tough. I mainly want them to just focus on Mario now, because I feel like there's so much to flesh out with this first. But I think down the line, if we get movies on other franchises, if we get like a Kirby movie, if we get a Legend of Zelda movie, I definitely think something like that is possible in the future. 100% I'd be on board. I think it's always great when we have fans and stuff of media with their beautiful ideas. They're very, like, creative ideas. I think it's a really good idea on paper. Like,
Yes.
wow, like, let's get all these beautiful franchises that have, gave us such great times and great games throughout the years. Let's put them together in a movie. That'd be really cool. And I think it would be cool, but it's just, like I said, I want them to first focus on fleshing out, this Mario universe that we have going on.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's what I'll say.
Yeah, I also agree. It's not something that I really want at the moment. It would be cool, but yeah, if they do go on with it, my idea is that maybe not get Illumination to do all of them. Illumination should just stick to Mario, because Illumination is all about like the super expressive, cartoony, colorful animation, and that's perfect for Mario. That's
very stretchy and bouncy animation.
Yeah, it might work for Kirby, but it's not gonna work for like a Zelda or a Metroid movie. Like those have to be more serious. Like people were saying, like, what if they did a Metroid movie like fucking like the Alien movies, like really like gritty and
that would be fucking
action.
cool.
That would be cool, yeah. But yeah, I agree. Like, let's like I'm really tired of cinematic universes. Like I've been burnt out on the Marvel movies for a while now. There's just too much to keep up with because Marvel expects you to like watch like the 9 movies they put out a year and the TV shows and the specials, and it's just too much to keep up with. It costs too much money, and I just hope that like the video game movies don't fall into the same pit, because we've gotten so many superhero movies now that people are bored of them, and I feel like the success of the Mario movie is great, but it's also kind of bad because now we're gonna get a bunch of like copycat movies trying to ride Mario's dick, basically.
Yeah. You're right.
But in terms of like the Mario movie, just the Mario movie universe, I would love to see more of that. Other Nintendo movies, maybe let's wait a few years. I don't want to get like drowned in video game movies and have like this big connecting story that I'm expected to follow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just here for Mario, man. Like I have only, there's games that I like and games that I don't like as much. I just want to keep up with the Mario movie. I like Mario. I want to see Mario and his friends on more goofy adventures. I don't want a big whole, like, storyline just yet. Like, keep that to the games. Like, that's kind of the magic of Smash. Like, you never actually find out why all these video game characters are in one space. Like, they never explain it. Like, they kind of do, I guess, because it's like, they team up or against a common evil, or, like, they're statues that are brought to life by Master Hand. But you're kind of left in the dark other than that. And that's kind of like the magic of Smash. It's like, don't think about it. Like not everything needs a big backstory, Like, just enjoy the magic of the moment. And I just really hope that this doesn't give Nintendo or all these other movie companies a big head. Like, yeah, let's make, like, 75 new Nintendo movies. Just stick to Mario. I want to see more Mario.
Yeah, and can I just say, how beautiful is it that we're all alive during a time of them making movies like that? Like, how amazing is it? Like, when I was a kid, before I even saw, like, those Mario movie, like, that Mario movie that came out in the 90s, like, I thought about, you always think about that, like, when you're playing these games, like, oh, it'd be so cool if, like, this was a movie. It'd be so cool if, like, this was that. Like, you always want more. Like, I think about just as an adult, like, there's, like, more plushes and stuff out of, like, video game characters, and I love that so much, because little kid me would have loved to have a lot of these plushes, like a Pokemon plushes or Kirby plushes, Mario plushes. I would have loved to have those things when I was younger, and knowing that they're available now is amazing. So just seeing more media, whether it be plushes, whether it be movies, whether it be TV shows, how amazing is it that we're alive during a time where these things are being like produced, these things are coming out. It's freaking amazing. I love it. So whatever little complaints you have about it, it's like, at the end of the day, how amazing is it that we're here watching a movie of a game that, like, we grew up with, a game series that we grew up with. That's so freaking cool. Like, that's just cool to the core. It's so cool, and I'm just so thankful that, you know, I could see it. I'm here to see it. It's amazing.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm you know, I know I've you know, kind of hesitated a bunch this podcast, but I am genuinely excited to see what they do in the future, because this is like the start of something new. Like, we are in a renaissance of, like, video game media, and you know, it makes sense now. Like, when you think about it, it's like, we haven't really gotten a new Mario game since Odyssey, right? Like, and I mean, like, new, like, not a port or whatever. Like, Bowser's Fury was new, but it was part of the Mario 3D world. We haven't really gotten, like, a new Mario game in a while, and it makes sense now, because, like, they were probably working on this the whole time. They were probably working on the Mario movie, like, you know, like, I know Miyamoto doesn't really have, like, a super big hand in all the games now, because, you know, Nintendo's huge now. It's, like, beyond his power, but he's still so dedicated to his own franchises that he wants to help out. I think I saw an interview somewhere where it was, like, he was still working on, like, fucking Pikmin 4 while doing the Mario movie at the same time. So it's like, you know, he's here for all his babies, and I'm sure he's probably working on some other games too. And it really kind of shows his dedication to his own creations. And yeah, it's really nice to see. It's really nice to see all this stuff popping up now, and it gives a lot of, like, backstory now to why things were kind of weird for Mario and whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, I mean, there's so much big stuff that we don't even know about that's probably under the, you know, behind the scenes right now. I mean, I'm sure by now they're already, like, finalizing their new console at this point, because the Switch is, like, gonna be, how old is it? It's like 7-8 years old now?
Was it 2017 or 2018?
2017.
Okay, so it's 6 years.
6 years. Okay, about. Yeah, that's pretty old for a console. That's, like, almost at the end of its line, but it's still, like, producing all these games. So you know, stuff like the Mario movie just gives me hope. It's like, wow, there's a lot of, like, great stuff that they're probably working on that we don't even know about yet. They're waiting to announce it, and, you know, people were so hesitant about the Mario movie, and then it came out and ended up being awesome. And it's like, yeah, it just makes me really happy and hopeful for future stuff, not just for Mario, but for video games in general.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, that The Last of Us, we're only really talking about, like, Nintendo stuff and Sonic, but, like, there's also stuff like The Last of Us that is a really successful TV show. It's a good era to be a gamer right now. Good time to be a gamer.
Yes.
Alright, unless anyone has, like, some final thoughts, because I know I've been talking a lot, but I'm very passionate about this. I think that's it.
I actually have something.
Oh yeah,
that I wanted
go
to bring
off.
Up, like,
Pop off.
If you don't
Pop
mind,
off,
like,
King.
I apologize for interrupting and stuff.
Pop off, King.
But I remember talking about this with Spider. I think it was a good 2 or 3 days ago. We were talking about the movie, and I actually wanted to bring up, like, one part that I can't believe I didn't bring this up. I just had forgotten, but I was like, something that made me raise my eyebrow. Like, me and my sister, we kind of raised our eyebrows at this. Towards the end, when they saved Brooklyn, like, the fact that Mario's dad was so proud of them, like, within an instant, all because of what they did, it kind of, like, rubbed me the wrong way that Mario just accepted him, like, back so fast, because, like, he pretty much shat on him at the beginning of the movie. Like, he literally took a steamy dump on him.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you, like, oh, you're so happy to see him and hug him and everything, and, like, I get you just saved your family, but at the same time, like, personally, I would have just been like, I need a little bit of time.
That's
like,
fair.
You just basically told me, yeah, like, you just told me, like, I'm dragging my brother down and, like, making him a failure, and basically implied that I was already becoming a giant one. Like, thanks.
Yeah. I do think it's cute, though, that Mario's dad was voiced by Charles Martinet.
Yes, I love that. So,
that scene where he's like, those are my boys. It's like, those are your boys, Charles.
Yeah, that's so cute.
but yeah, definitely, again, that's another, like, pacing / kids movies problem. It's like everything, happy ending. Everything's fixed in the end. And it was kind of awkward, especially after we had this moment with DK and Mario bonding over their dads. It's like, I didn't.
Yeah, really, that was only for like a second too.
Yeah, There's definitely a couple of flaws there, but again, now that they know that a movie like this can succeed, I do hope that they can kind of make the next movie a little longer and maybe add in a little more room for like emotional cues and all, because I stand by my opinion that like the first like fourth of the movie is like the best part of the movie, when like Mario and Luigi are in Brooklyn and it's like establishing their family ties and their relationship with each other. Like, that was really sweet, and I hope we get to see more of that, because it was kind of just like taken away too soon, because Mario and Luigi have to be separated, and Mario on his own, like Chris Pratt did a fine job, voicing him. Everyone was making fun of him because he was like, oh, he's gonna be so bad as Mario. He did all right. I mean,
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come.
When they used that clip that sounded like fucking Linda from Bob's Burgers. There's definitely a lot of bad. They kind of. I mean, I don't really like Chris Pratt that much, but they did him kind of dirty in the previews. They used like his worst takes. In the actual movie, he's fine, but yes. Mario himself was pretty bland, because they kind of anchor him to other characters. They don't really let Mario flourish on his own, except for one scene near the end when he's fighting Bowser, and like Bowser kicks his ass. And Mario's kind of having, like, almost a panic attack of like, thinking about, like, oh, no, I'm going to lose. I really am a loser. Yeah. I do hope they build on that more, because, I hope they don't, like, go the route where, like, just because Mario's, like, a hero now doesn't mean that, like, he's in, he might have gotten the invincibility star, but he's still not emotionally invincible. He could still have baggage and be, like, the champion of the Mushroom Kingdom. So, yeah. There's definitely a lot of stuff I hope they can build on more in the sequel, now that they know that they can make a sequel, and they'll probably do just as good, if not better.
Yes.
Whew! Okay.
All right, so I think we're at the end of our podcast. Everyone, we've had a lot to say about the Mario movie. The Mario movie was really good, but, we gotta wrap it up. So here is our ending information. This has been the Gamer Agenda Podcast. Thanks for listening to us, and here's where you can follow us. Instagram, The Gamer Agenda. Twitter, Gamer Agenda Pod. That's Gamer Agenda Pod. Pod spelled P-O-D. We also have a Facebook page, The Gamer Agenda. Give us a like on Facebook. And we have an email as well, thegameragenda@gmail.com. Feel free to contact us with any questions, ideas, or hey, maybe you want to guest star someday. For any of that, email us. Again, thegameragenda@gmail.com. And just recently, not just recently, a long time now, 2023, our podcast is all over the internet. Here's just a couple places where you can follow us. Spotify, iTunes / Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Anchor. So just look up the Gamer Agenda Podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and you will follow us and find us. And, yeah. And for me, Spider Star you can follow me on Twitter @SpiderStarU, on YouTube, Spider Star You. And hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you give it a big like, give it a big thumbs up. And I also have a PayPal if you want to be generous and be like, hey, I'm gonna throw $1 at you. You can take this $1, boy. You can totally do that if you wish. It's paypal.me/Michael William Chavez. And just, give $1. It's kind, it's cool. Why not?
And you can find me on Twitter @Dreadians, spelled DREADIANZ. The Z is there because I'm a cool and edgy girl. You can follow me on Instagram, same name, Dreadians. And you can send me some cash my way through my Ko-fi, also Dreadians. Give me some money so I can see the Mario movie again, because it was that good. Then, Sup, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok. Actually, you can find me on YouTube as well, and it's all under the same username, GodUsoppSHC. That's God Usopp USOPPSHC.
You said PP.
I said PP.
Yeah, if you like this podcast, you'll get to see Usopp again real soon on our SpongeBob podcast. You're gonna love him. I know we did.
Yes, we
Thank
love
you.
our sop. Sop it up. Yes. All right, that's the end of our podcast. Thank you everyone so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Peace.